Is Christian rap really Christian?
I want to turn the question around. What would make the music Christian? Is it the message that is being expressed? Is the message in the music expressing the gospel message? Is it expressing the love that God had for man to restore that relationship?
The problem that most people have with it is the culture that it derived from.
That it was born out of.
That it was born out of.
Talk your talk.
And so when they see a God now that is doing the same thing as, let's say, NWA, they cannot
separate the message from the genre.
They hear the same beat.
Right. Because you go all the way back to NWA, that has put a brand on the genre, is what I hear you saying.
I would say that they were one of the first ones that did that, in my personal opinion, to where it was a negative connotation for rap music.
It was a negative connotation for Christianity. It was in a lot of ways in stark opposition to. So if that is your introduction to rap music, and that's all that you have to go on, then to hear a very similar sound without paying attention to the message, I could see you drawing some type of correlation and automatically demonizing the genre because it puts you in a mindset of how it was introduced to you.
And you could say the same thing about rock music. Rock music was birthed out of rebellion.
Yes. Everything.
And so they'll say the same thing about that as well. So it really isn't just, is rap music Christian? Is there rock music, or they call it heavy metal, things of that nature? Can that be Christian? And it's not the music that makes it Christian. It's the message, like you said, that's being spoken to the music.
So it isn't the music style.
Yes.
That makes the music Christian or not. It is the message that is carried through the music that makes it Christian or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when we go back to rap music, I think that people see, and like I said, I just used NWA as an example. There's many more growing up I listened to. So they see them and they see a guy that looks like them today, and they say, no, I can't. There ain't no way this can be Christian.
Right. Without listening to it. Without
ever listening. They have never listened to one lyric.
You hear the sound and you've already made a
judgment. Absolutely. And I think that's why you do have to examine the lyrics and the message of the song to see what the content is.
And it may not even be your flavor. You say examine the message in the music. It might not be a style that you gravitate to, so you wouldn't listen to it anyway. Does that make sense? So let's flip it. I love all kinds of music, from country and western to classical to jazz. So you almost can't miss me on various genres of music. There are some styles of Christian music I'm just not listening to.
I'm not feeling it.
And I can't give you...
It's not my flavor.
I can't give you names of the people who are the artists, but it's a sound that I'm going to miss the message for how it's being presented. It's sleepy.
I'll be asleep if I listen to
it. It's tinny. I don't know. I'm not listening to that. Now, you may get me to hang on for 2 or 3 more seconds because you said Jesus, and I rock with that, and I'm like, okay, well, let me pray, Lord, let me just listen for a second to see what I don't like it. Give me some Bizzle. Give me some J Monty,
in
D1,
in most of the
KB, Lecrae.
just the names, when they hear it, they're immediately saying, oh man, I can't. And they may not even really want to ever listen to the music at all. They have no intention of listening to it, but they will steady judge these guys just because
They look a certain way.
they look a certain
They
way.
sound a certain way.
You know, and we were talking before here about, you know, Kendrick Lamar had just dropped a new song. I personally haven't listened to Kendrick Lamar. I don't know, but I was listening to somebody else and they were saying that he was talking about Lecrae and D1 and how important that is for somebody of that caliber to send accolades to them and say that he respected what they were doing, from what I understand.
In the song, Watch the Party Die, shout out to Kendrick Lamar. He's been invited to perform for the Super Bowl. I don't know the number. You can look it up. The next one that's going to be in New Orleans. And in his response to a song that he drops on Instagram a couple weeks ago, he references Lecrae by saying, what would Lecrae do? And saying that he wished that he had an empathetic heart like D1. I can go back and listen to the song again. I don't know that he names anyone else specifically. He's speaking in quite generalizations about other people in the industry. He doesn't name them. But to specifically call out Lecrae, one of the absolute leaders and pioneers of Christian hip hop, whether you like him or not personally, because yes, he had some challenges as a man following Christ, which if any of us are honest, we all do. We can get into this self-righteous thing about what I do and what I don't do, and because I don't sin the same way that he does. But what he has contributed to the faith through his music cannot be denied. And he's still doing it today, still one of the best. And so even in his response to Kendrick's mention of him, you should listen to that. D1, I don't know that you can find an artist that has been more consistent with their message. You can go back and listen to his catalog, and from the earliest of what he's put out, he's letting you know that he's representing Jesus Christ. To his response to Kendrick Lamar mentioning him, he's still on. Yeah, I'm unapologetic about where I'm from and how I look and how I sound, but make no mistake, my message is about Jesus Christ.
And what better to have our kids than examples like that? Because kids, just like you said, there's children that don't want to listen to your Christian pop music. Number one, they probably hear a lot of rap music when they're growing up.
Right.
They go to school, they have it in their household. So what better alternative could you have than somebody who's preaching a positive message with music that they understand to their culture, to their generation?
There was an artist to drop a 30-year anniversary to a popular album that was released, right? So I was like, oh man, I used to rock that. And so when I put it on and you hear the music, I'm like, oh, and I'm in it. I'm rocking. I'm grooving to it. But when he starts rapping, I'm like, it's cringe. Like, my spirit can't agree with the message. So then I hit fast forward, or I hit next. And the next, and then as soon as he starts, I'm like, I can't really agree. I can't agree with the message, right? So to have, it's the sound, what I used to call a hot air sandwich. So you have the music, the beat, and the instrument, the track, right? I call that the bread. You got the beat, you got the music, and a lot of people, they bob in their head. Some people don't even listen to, but then a lot of it, you're feeding people nothing in the middle, or it's an unhealthy diet. So to have something that gives you the bread where you're like, oh man, that is jamming. And then you have substance in the middle that I can grow with and grow on. I'm rocking with that, man. So yes, is Christian rap really Christian? Absolutely.
100%. Hey guys, we know being a man can be tough. Maybe you need help talking to a woman, dealing with some kind of road rage, or maybe even fighting addictions. Check out our other vids on life and how you can be a better man.